And for more on that, let's send it down now to Britton Lynn.
Thanks, guys. Well, for Kent State, that player is Zarli Zalewski. He's batting .400 right now. When I asked Coach Jeff Duncan what makes him special, he said he just has a calming presence on the team. People really follow him. For Liberty, that player is Will Shepard. He had 4 runs, 5 RBIs last game, and he said the difference maker for him this season was playing in summer ball. Really helped him focus on each at-bat.
All right, thank you very much, Britt.
Before the game, I talked to Will Shepard, and I said, what's the motto for this team? He told me it's culture wins. What that means is they want to create a culture. They want to leave a legacy. They said the game is bigger than just us. Carson Herndon also told me that that means coming together as a brotherhood and letting that motto define them. Guys?
All right, thank you, Britt.
Coach, how do you think the team's done in controlling the pace of the game against this up-tempo Lamar team?
Britton, we haven't done much right at all.
Well, when I talked with the Liberty players before the game, one name kept coming up. That name's Shelton Stevens. Shelton Stevens is the new strength and conditioning coach for the Liberty baseball team. He joined the team in August, so only 7 months ago. Well, congrats on the win. I know Coach Green often preaches to you guys, preparation beats determination. How hard has this team worked off the court to get those 5 straight wins?
We've worked really hard.
I know you mentioned the rhythm. Ashley Reiniger back. A lot of people wondering how that would affect the rhythm of the team. How did it feel?
Let's check in with Britton Lynn.
Well, thanks, guys. So far, a chilly start to the morning over here on the field. Saw some flurries earlier, but just a few minutes away from the first pitch. Our Who's Hot player for Kent State is third baseman Dylan Rosa. And for Liberty, our Who's Hot player is Will Shepard, batting .367. Shepard's teammates said he brings a toughness to the team, holds guys accountable when he talks. Guys, listen. Nick, Matt. Right now, he's one of the top scorers for Winthrop's basketball team, but it wasn't always that way. Back in high school, he never even made the varsity team. That's because he just weighed 90 pounds, was only 5'4" as he battled Crohn's disease. Fast forward 5 years, he's coming off a 29-point game. And when I talked with him, he said he loves being able to encourage other kids in the community who are fighting the same disease he once fought. Well, Nick, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little nervous standing in the dugout right now because these guys, they know how to pull some pranks. You saw one of them just a second ago. That's where they blow up the bubble gum and then they put it on top of someone's head until that person figures out. Well, it was about a whole inning until he figured out. He even walked out onto the field at one point with that bubble gum on. Fans taking pictures. I feel so bad for him. Coach Green, coming into the game, you told me a key for a win today would be staying focused on the defensive end. You guys have held them to 14 points in the first 2 quarters. How do you think you guys have played?
Well, obviously great on defensive end.
Ask Coach Duncan before the series started, who is the most impressive player on this team to you? He had a quick answer, Zach Beckner. Zach's been playing second base most of this series, but he said that Zach has really improved, and not only is he a good player on the field, but he really carries himself well off of it. If you haven't been around the Kent State ball program before, you might not recognize the name Mike Birkbeck, but to this school, has a lot of meaning. These players would call him a legend. Not only has he been around Kent State for 20 years, but he's also coached 6 of his former pitchers into the major league. Just a week ago, the entire team and coaching staff shaved their heads to raise awareness for cancer. The team's raised over $7,500 for the nonprofit Versus Cancer, and for one player, that moment was especially touching. The highest scoring game against a Division I opponent all season. You guys have not beat Winthrop since December 2010. What did you learn about your team tonight? Coach McKay has preached all season, we before me. How important is being unselfish to this Liberty team?
It's everything.
Well, guys, despite the youth, I talked with Coach Hendricks before the game. She told me this is the hardest working team she's ever had. They're always asking for extra film, extra shots, and the coaching staff also pretty young. They have a combined age of 140, which makes an average of 30 years old for each coach, making them the second youngest coaching staff in Division I women's basketball. Guys?
Fascinating, and it's
Let's check in once more with Britton Lynn. Britton?
Yeah, thanks, guys. I sat in on that last huddle, heard the coaches just encouraging the guys, saying this defense is doing much better, but we really got to work on those rebounds and making sure we don't let them get that second shot.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Coach, you mentioned to me yesterday that the fast-paced offense can oftentimes have negative effects on the defense. How do you prevent that from happening?
Well, we did. We had a great...
Speaking of being there for your team, you had 22 points tonight, tying a career high, stepping up when Ashley Reiniger's been out with an injury. How much has that changed your role on the team?
I think
You also had another incredible experience going to Pasadena, winning a national championship.
Maybe the word bounty wasn't on it, but there were rewards for big hits and knockout shots.
So it happens everywhere. This is a big issue. It's really hurting players. What is your solution to the problem? How do you stop this?
Well,